Good morning. Today we are doing the lab 6.2.2.5, which is configuring different VLAN on the switches itself. In order to start the lab, the most easiest devices to configure will always be the PC. So let's start by configuring PCA, PCB, and PCC. This is PCA. Let's go to the desktop and IP configuration. The IP address is shown below the PC, 192.168.10.3. The default subnet mask 255.255.255.0, which is equivalent to a prefix of /25. Okay, the default gateway will be 192.168.10.1. Okay, let's close it. Let's repeat the same process for PCB and PCC. After configuring the IP addresses on the PC, how to verify it on the actual computer? Basically, you just need to go to command prompt and type ipconfig to verify that IP addresses has been accepted by the PC operating system. So you can see that I've configured 192.168.20.3 with subnet mask of 255.255.255.0 and the default gateway 192.168.20.1 to PCC. At the same time, packet tracer activity file also allows you to check the result, whether have you configured the different configuration correctly. Let's click on check result, assessment item, and you can see that PCA, PCB, and PCC has been ticked as correct. Okay. So as and when you can always come to the activity screen to check on your assessment item. Okay. Let's continue by configuring S1 and S2. Okay, so you can see that for today we are going to configure things like disable domain lookup and encrypt all password, etc. Let's start by going to S1. Okay, after going to S1, go to CLI. Okay, the first requirement, in order to start configuration, definitely you must go to the global configuration mode. Okay, in this case, currently we are now in the user mode. Tap enable to go to the privilege executive mode, followed by config key to go to the global configuration mode. So the first command will be no IP domain lookup, okay, for disable domain lookup. In order to encrypt all password, we will do serve pass. Okay, we are going to create an encrypted private executive password with class, so we will be enable secret class. Okay. Then we're going to configure the banner MOTD to be unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. Okay, then we're going to configure the console and video password to be Cisco. Icon 0, password Cisco. For VTY, will be line VTY 0 to 15. Okay, for most switches, password Cisco. Okay, login. Okay, configure the host name. So currently you're working on S1 switch, so the host name will be S1. Okay, and last but not least, configure all IP address. So you can see that currently I have an IP addresses 192.168.1.11, which is set to VLAN 99, and I also need to configure the default gateway to be 192.168.1.1. So start by doing interface VLAN 99, which is the switch virtual interface, followed by IP address 192.168.1.11, followed by the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, which I mentioned that okay is basically equivalent to the prefix of /25. But for configuration wise, we need to convert the prefix /24 to its decimal dotted notation /24. Do a no shut. Always remember that at the end of an interface command, always do a no shut to enable the interface. We'll do the IP default gateway command. Okay, 192.168.1. Okay, so take note that instead of typing the full command default dash gateway, okay, the short form is actually 192.168.1. Okay, it is also equivalent. Okay, then followed by save config. Okay, so we'll do a copy to save our configuration. Press enter to save it to the startup configuration file in your MV RAM. Okay, next we are supposed to create 3 VLAN. Okay, so basically VLAN is like splitting up the physical switches into multiple virtual switch, imaginary switch. So in this case, we are going to create 3 different VLAN, on switch 1 and switch 2, VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 90. Okay, the command will be VLAN followed by the number that you're going to use. Okay, and the words that follow the VLAN will be the name, VLAN that you're going to create. So in this case will be student for VLAN 10. Okay, so that will be how you're going to create VLAN with its name. Okay, how to verify? Okay, you can do a show VLAN brief. Okay, in short, you can actually just use BR. Okay, but we're going to use the full form now. To show VLAN brief, press enter. So you can see that currently I have a VLAN 10, okay, with the name student that is created, but 20 and 99 is still not there. Okay, let's create a VLAN 20 now, and let's look at the result. Okay, do a show VLAN brief again. Okay, you can see that okay, when I create a new VLAN, okay, the default name is always VLAN // followed by the number. Okay, but this is not what we want because we want to change the name to a more user-friendly name that we know that what is the VLAN used for. So the name is faculty, followed by 99. Okay, we can do a show VLAN brief again. Okay, so we can see that when I create 99 will be VLAN 0099. Name. Okay, to show VLAN brief again. Okay, so we have actually created VLAN 10, 20, and 99 on switch S1. So you can see that we're going to actually configure 1 to 9. Okay, similarly on S2. Okay, but let's look at the rest of the requirement first. So you can see that on top of that, okay, when we look at the switch, okay, the PCA is actually connected to port 6, and you can see that on the diagram itself, we want PCA to be in VLAN 10. That's why when you look at the number 10 requirement, you are supposed to assign port 06 to VLAN 10. Okay, if you look at show VLAN brief, you will find that currently your port 06 is actually attached to VLAN 1, which is the default VLAN. Okay, so how to change the port to be on VLAN 10? Okay, first you must go to the interface A06. Okay, and followed by the command switch port mode access. Okay, because by default is on dynamic auto mode, and switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, by doing VLAN 10, you're basically assigning port 6 to be on VLAN 10. Okay, after doing this, let's verify by doing a show VLAN brief again. Okay, so you can see that FA06 instead of now in VLAN 1 is in VLAN 10. Okay, VLAN 10. Okay, so other than this, okay, if we look at 11 and 12 is on S2, so we're going to skip that. Okay, next 13, you'll see that you are supposed to configure FA01 as trunk on both switch. Okay, so FA01 is actually connected to another switch. So normally for port that is connected to a PC, okay, we will actually do switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN to assign it to a specific VLAN. But for port that are connected to another switch, because it's supposed to allow different VLAN on the switch to go to each other, okay, normally we will actually configure it as trunk. Okay, so we're going to go to interface FA01, okay, and command is switch port mode trunk. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, so you can see that when you do a show VLAN brief, okay, you won't find FA01 anymore on VLAN 1, okay, because FA01 has been changed to mode trunk. In order to verify the trunk mode, you must do show interface trunk. Okay, and you can see that when I do that show interface trunk command, FA01 is actually been highlighted as, okay, a trunking mode. Okay, so that will be what we need to do for S1. On top of that, we also can do a show run to verify our configuration. Okay, FA06 is in VLAN 1 and FA01 is on switch port mode trunk. Okay, so let's go to, okay, S2 now. Enable again, config key. Okay, no IP domain. Up. Serve as. Enable secret class number 3. Panel MOTD. Okay. 9.0 Cisco in VG1015 Cisco in. Okay, host name S2, as you can see from here the device. Okay, and configure the VLAN 99 IP addresses and the gateway. Interface VLAN 99 IP address 2.168.1.12 0, no shut. Remember to always enable interface IP default gateway 2.168. Okay, create the 3 VLAN. Okay, on the switch VLAN 10, name student cap sensitive, then 20, name faculty, VLAN 99. Okay, do a show VLAN brief to verify, okay, the 3 VLAN. Okay, 10, 20 and 99. Okay, if you make any mistake, okay, you just need to actually redact the command, okay, to override the existing, okay. So you can see that for this switch 2, we have port 11, which is assigned, port 11, which is assigned to VLAN 10, and port 18, which is assigned to VLAN 20, which is the 11 and 12 requirement that we need to do. So interface, okay, FA011 first. Okay, so we're going to assign port 11 to be on VLAN 10. Okay, so the short form for switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN command is just SW. MO, SW is switch port, MO is mode, AC is short form for access. So the short form is as short as SWMOAC. And switch port access VLAN will be SW, AC, VLAN 10. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, so for interface FA018, we're going to do SWMOAC, SWAC VLAN 20. Okay, and last but not least, FA01 is supposed to be a trunk mode, so FA01 SW switch port mode MO, trunk can be as short as TR. Okay, so the mode basically will be AC or just TR. Press enter. Okay, Okay, wait a while, because when you change the mode, okay, it will take some time to transit over. How to verify whether is it in the correct port? To show VLAN brief. Okay, so we can see that currently port 11 is on 10, port 20 is on 18. So what happens if you assign the port to be on a different VLAN? Okay, basically you can just retype the command. Let's just do a bit of okay. For example, I'm in FA018 now, which is supposed to be on VLAN 20. What happens if I accidentally change it to be on VLAN 99? Okay, so you can see that now FA018, I actually set it to be on VLAN 99. Do a show VLAN brief, and let's verify it. Okay, so you can see that currently my port FA18 is in VLAN 99, which is not my requirement. So in order to change it, you just need to go back to interface FA018 again, switch port mode SS, and switch port SS VLAN 20. Okay, to change it back. Okay, do a show VLAN brief. Okay, to check. So you can see that my port 18 is now successfully changed back to VLAN 18. Okay, VLAN 18. Okay. So let's check the outcome of this VLAN. So as I mentioned, VLAN is actually to create a virtual switch within the switch. So it means that same VLAN can talk to each other, but it cannot talk to different VLAN. We will learn in a little lab that how we're going to enable different VLAN to talk to each other, either by making use of a router or a multi-layer switch. But in this lab, you can see that there's no router involved. So okay, PC that is on VLAN 10 will never be able to ping PC on VLAN 20. Okay, let's just verify. Now we are on PCA. Go to command prompt. Let's ping our PCB, which is 192.168.10.4. Okay, you can see that I can successfully ping PCB. Okay, where else if I try to ping PCC, which is 192.168.20.1.3. Okay, you will see that I'm not able to ping PCC. It will be request timeout. Okay, so that is how VLAN actually works. Okay, you can see that there's request timeout. Okay, 4 times. Okay, 0 has been received. Okay, so same thing for PCB. Okay, PCB will be able to ping PCA. Okay, and it will not be able to ping PCC. Okay, so you can see 100% loss.